in a standing position is better than what? Making it in a sitting position. But if a person will do it from a sitting position, فَلَا بَأْسٍ. Mathalan, what here the Shaykh is saying is this. The person, mathalan, he's reading a verse in the Quran. طيب. If he is doing it now, him reading, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, تَتَجَافَى جُنُوبُهُمْ. What is the verse before that? What is the verse before that? Naam, now he lost me. What's the verse in Surah 2? Wasjud waqtarib. Now he's reading, for instance, and then he will stand up and say Allahu Akbar and go onto the sujood. Because he was doing it at the time that he was standing. It is better than doing it while you are in the situation of sitting. But if he is to be doing it at that position of sitting, then barakallahu fikum, there is no problem. Because here, the Shaykh is mentioning about what is better. He's mentioning about what is better. So doing it while you're standing is better now. No, meaning to combine both. Right. Saying both falabas, there is no problem. But if you say the first one, right, or the second one, or the third one, there is no issue in it. But if you combine all of it that is to be said, there is no problem. This is why he say falabas in this. Naam. So here the Shaykh Hafidhahullah in conclusion, and as in every single bab of this book, the Shaykh not only he gave a conclusion, but he's giving us barakallah fikum some type of tawjihat, some type of nasiha, some type of what to follow up with this. He say, oh you Muslim, right? Oh you Muslim. Meaning he's talking about you, he's talking to me and anyone barakah that is either reading this book or listening to the lecture like this. He said that know that the ways to achieve good, they are many. That the path of goods, they are many. He say, ayyuhal Muslim, O you Muslim, inna turuq al-khayr kathiratun, that the path of having good or the paths of goods, they are many. Meaning there is many ways of doing good. Right? Allah did not restricted the doing of good in only barakallah fikum, the salah, the zakat, the siyam, the hajj, the umrah and the likes of this. But rather the doors of good, they are many. And he say, but you have to be diligent. You have to be diligent and you have to strive. Wal ijtihad fiha, and you have to be striving in regard to those doors of good. In everything that is of good, barakallah fikum, from the sharia, you have to be diligent about. And you have to also, alhamdulillah, be striving in the cause of that. Na'am wal ikhlasu fil qawli wal amal. And also to make sure that we have sincerity in our actions and statements. To have sincerity in the actions and the statements. He say that perhaps Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put you among those that will achieve what? As-su'ada, those who will be from the fortunate ones. From the successful ones. And this is barakallah fiqh what concluded this chapter in the book that is barakallah fiqh al-Mulakhas al-Fiqh by Shaykh al-Fawzaan. We wanted to read a little bit, if there is anything, in regard to al-wajiz. تفضل محمد. الله يحفظك.
بالنسبة للقارئ والمستمع هل تجب في حقه سجود؟ هل يجب في حقه سجود تلاوة وأنها فقط مشروعة يعني سنة؟
نعم. طيب, the brother he say now, is it in regard to the qari wal mustami'? تفضل. So in regard to the one reading or the one that is listening, is it something that is an obligation? And I think that the first issue that we talked about was it is not an obligation, but rather it is a sunnah that has been legislated. So it is not the person, as the hadith of Umar, I think the first day of class we mentioned it, it is not something that is binding, even for the person that is reciting or reading. Jazakallah, that reminds us about an issue. Now, how does the person do the sujood of tilawah in the salah? For both he will say Allahu Akbar going and Allahu Akbar coming back. The question was asked to Shaykh Salih al-Uthaymi rahimahullah, how do we make the sujood tilawa? Do we say the takbir going and coming back if we are not in the salah? He said, la. But rather you only say the takbir going, but you don't say the takbir coming back. And they istadalla bi hadith Ibn Umar. And he gave the hadith of Ibn Umar. Because if you pay very close attention to the hadith of Ibn Umar, he mentioned the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam kabbara. He kabbara, he make the takbir, make the sujood, and we all made sujood with him. He didn't say back what? And he make another takbir coming back. لو كان فيه لذكره. If it was in it, Ibn Umar radiyallahu anhu, he was cautious enough to realize that the Messenger make the takbir when he was going to sujood. So he would have also be cautious to realize that the Messenger say the takbir coming back. So there is only one takbir if one is not in the salah. But if one is in the salah, hunaka two takbir. The takbir of going and the takbir of coming back in the salah. Now the other issue, and you will relate back to the book of Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah, which is called the Sifatul Salatul Nabi, which is a very beneficial book. He mentioned in it as the sunnah of the Salatul Fajr on Friday. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not make the sujood. Even though there was a sujood in it, but he did not make the sujood while reciting the surah as-sajada on the very first rak'ah. He will not make the sujood. That's number one. Number two, Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah, in dealing with that issue, he mentioned in some part of the lands, and he mainly named here Egypt because this was what took place. He said the people, they think that the Fajr of Friday is of 3 rak'at. Why? Because of people making the sujood of the surah to sajda in the first rak'ah. So they will think it comprised of 3 sujood, right? One before the actual ruk'u, meaning when the person recites surah to sajda, right? And then when he come back, and after that, completing the surah, make ruk'u and make sujood. So they will think it is from what? It is from the sunnah to make 3 sujood. But rather, if one is reciting surah to sajda on Friday, from the sunnah is that he does not make the sujood tilawa. He doesn't make the sujood tilawa. نعم. أستاذ سامبرا. أيوة فضل.
أنا قرأت أن يعني هذا كان الشيخ مقبل.
أيضا نعم حفظه الله.
لكن كنت قرأت بحث حول هذا وجدت أن ابن عباس رضي الله عنه ذكر أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم سجد
في الجمعة.
في الجمعة.
نعم, he mentioned also that what Shaykh Muqbil حفظه الله أو رحمه الله, and without a doubt, Shaykh Muqbil rahimahullah kana min a'imma al-hadith. He was from the barakallah fikum, the imams of hadith of our generation. He mentioned about the narration of Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu, as kama dhakara akhuna jazahullah khairan, that the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam made the sujood. So here you have the statement of Shaykh al-Albani and the statement of Shaykh Muqbil. But it is for now the talib al-ilm that has the ability to do so. فضل
الذي قلته أن الشيخ الألباني والشيخ مقبل يتوافقان في هذه المسألة.
أيوة.
لكن بعض أهل العلم نسيت من، لكن ذكروا أن بعض الصحابة روي عنهم أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يسجد، فالشيخ مقبل والشيخ الألباني لا يرون
هذا. أيوة نعم. So I'm going to take it back. So he mentioned that Shaykh Muqbil, he has the same opinion as Shaykh al-Albani, which is that alhamdulillah the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not make the sujood. So here it is an important issue that if we are those who will return back and make bahth, then we will mention these things. But if we are to be implementing, this is what we will say. And this is why we didn't go into details in this. Right? We will say what alhamdulillah was being barakallah fikum, that the ulama that is known to all of us, Shaykh Muqbil, Shaykh Albani, that they view that it is not to be made a sujood. So for those who are mutamakkin, they have the ability to do the buhuth and the likes of this. This is something to us inshallah ta'ala. Wa jazakumullahu khairan. We got 6 more minutes. Naam. So we're going back to Al-Wajiz. You got page 149. La. 148. Yes. I started from 147. Actually, started from page 148 on the top. حكم السجود. Aywa, this is what we have mentioned earlier, that this sujood is not an obligation. It is not the person he abandoned it, he will be sinful. La. Like, it is not an obligation. Na'am. But rather it is something that is that has a lot of virtue. Doing it has a lot of virtue. And it is to be made when the person is even making the salah that is of an obligation. And likewise, when he is doing it in a salah that is tatawwu', meaning the surrogatory prayers. Let's say the salatul nawafil or the tarawih and the likes of this, it is also to be done. Na'am. And also in any other salah, at any given time, meaning the person is reading the Quran, mathalan, at the time where the salah is being prohibited. This is what the Shaykh Hafidhahullah wa Rahimah is alluding to. Na'am. And this is whether the sun is at the appearance of the sun or at the what you call it, the sun setting, it doesn't matter. Na'am. Now, another point that we would then bring is he to be doing it, number one, with tahara? We forgot to mention this. I think he'd say this. Yes, he said this. Are we to be making the sujood tilawa facing the qibla? Or are we to be doing it? It's a condition to do it facing the qibla? Or is it a condition to do it while in the state of tahara, while in the state of wudu, for instance? Is it a condition? The Shaykh, he say no. The person can make the sujood facing the qibla or not facing the qibla. Naam, kammil. Or he can also do it while he is in the state of wudu or not in the state of wudu. But bear in mind that there is something that is better, which is to do it while in the state of, and to do it while you are facing the qibla. Right? Just like ad-du'a, as Shaykh Uthaymin rahimahullah mentioned, that the person can be making dua facing the qibla or not facing the qibla. But al-afdal, it is to be facing the qibla. طيب? Naam. Now, he said, as in regard to what I said, I say that it is, that the sujood tilawa is something that has virtue on it, meaning you will be rewarded. There's a lot of reward in it, and not being an obligation. Now, so because the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he read Surah An-Najm, and then he made the sujood in it. And Zayd ibn Thabit, he read the same surah to the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Falam yasjud fiha, and he did not make the prostration here. Now here a nuqta that is important. Man alladhi qara'a? Who was the one reading it? Zayd. Now if Zayd would have made the sujood, the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam would have made the sujood. Right? You see the detail. The hadith of Abdullah ibn Umar, he mentioned that the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam recited to us a surah that has a sujood. He fakabbara, he made the takbir, and he made the sujood, and we all make the sujood until there was no place to put our forehead on it. But here, the Prophet himself qara'a Surah An-Najm, he read it on his own, and he made the sujood. But when Zayd ibn Thabit recited the same surah, the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam was not reported to make the sujood. We can derive what? That the Qari himself did not make the sujood. Aywa? Because he was listening to. And as from the sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sometime he will go to some of the companion and say, read to me. Right? Read to me. Naam. So this is to show, and we stop with this. This is to show that it is permissible, right? It is permissible to make the sujood, as Al-Hafiz, he mentioned